When Tricia Summers went to her doctor for another visit, complaining of strange stomach pains that were bothering her, the doctor ordered a CAT scan for the 40-year-old mother. When the results came back, the Summers family would be devastated with the news as well as the prognosis. The CAT scan revealed spots on Tricia's liver as well as a nasty tumor in her abdomen. As it turns out, Tricia had something called epithelioid hemangioendothelioma, a highly rare vascular cancer. But what would happen to her 8-year-old son Wesley? That burning question bothered Tricia a lot. Hello, wonderful people. I'm Scott Leffler for WonderBot, and here is this nurse answers cancer patients' prayers for son with kind-hearted gesture. Before we begin, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to our channel, and click the notification bell for more amazing videos. At first, Tricia just assumed she'd eaten something that hadn't agreed with her. She waited a few days, but when the stomach pains got worse, she decided to go and pay her doctor a visit. When the doctor ruled out food poisoning and other potential issues, he decided to call for a CAT scan to err on the side of caution. When the results from the scan came back, everyone was shocked to learn that Tricia had a rare form of cancer called epithelioid hemangioendothelioma. The disease is painfully rare and usually doesn't affect people who have just turned 40. Tricia was immediately admitted to Community General Hospital in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Epithelioid hemangioendothelioma is a rare type of vascular tumor that affects the epithelial cells, which line the inside of blood vessels. These tumors most commonly affect the soft tissue of the liver and lungs, but as they are so rare, can often go undetected for extended periods, even years. In Tricia's case, her cancer had been spreading for a while and doctors weren't sure how long she would survive. Having settled into the ward at the Community General Hospital as best she could, Tricia clicked with a nurse who cared for her, and the nurse even shared the same first name. Tricia Summers and Tricia Seaman soon became friends and would chat for hours. While the two women, brought together by fate, shared a first name, they also had other things in common. They were perfect strangers, but Summers would often confide in the nurse, telling her that she had an 8-year-old son called Wesley, but not much family to speak of. Tragically for Tricia, she was a single mother, and both her parents had died many years ago. She had a sibling, but she lived in another state, and Tricia was more or less alone. Wesley's father took a limited interest in his son's life and upbringing and was mainly absent. Tricia was in a dire situation and knew in her heart of hearts that she didn't have a whole bunch of time left in the world. Her cancerous tumors had spread and were spreading further, and she was already at an advanced stage. Her new friend, Tricia, an oncology nurse at the hospital, tried to make her feel better, but Tricia was in a bad way. Summers explained that the first time she met her namesake, she had an overwhelming feeling. "It's really hard to understand. It was just a warmth," Summers said. "I felt calm. I felt at peace. I felt like this woman is going to be the one who's going to take care of me." While the two Tricias chatted, Summers often talked about her son Wesley, often crying about who would look after him and care for him if she died. She was always on the phone making arrangements for friends to collect him from school as she lay dying in the hospital. Nurse Seaman explained in her softly spoken voice, "I felt very sorry for her because I could see her situation was quite serious, and also it had to be completely overwhelming knowing you had a little boy and you were in the hospital," she said. The nurse would often go and visit Summers, even on nights when she wasn't assigned to offer words of support and comfort. While the cancer had spread further to Summers' abdomen wall, she was eventually discharged from the hospital. She told her friend, Nurse Seaman, that the results weren't good, but then stopped to ask her an important question. "I'm really glad you stopped by because I have something I need to ask you," Seaman recalled. She said, "If I die, will you raise my son?" Seaman already had 3 teenage girls and a 10-year-old boy. But having talked the proposal over with her husband, the couple decided they were open to the idea. The couple had applied to adopt or foster just before Tricia fell ill. With that, the Seamans invited Tricia and Wesley over for a festive meal during Easter. When Tricia and her son were invited for another meal on Mother's Day, she was unable to attend as she was reacting badly to the chemotherapy she was having. It was at this point that doctors told Tricia she needed to return for full-time care at the hospital. It was at that moment when Tricia turned to her new friend and asked her to take Wesley into her home. The Siemens did one better than that and took both Tricia and her son Wesley to live with them in their family home. The two families have been living together ever since, and Tricia has even shown some signs of improvement. While doctors have already informed Tricia at the time that she may only have a few weeks to live, she felt comforted by the support and love given to her by the Siemens. She's just being loved by a family, and she's a part of a family, and that makes a huge difference, Nurse Siemens said. For Tricia Summers' part, she feels that her new friend saved her life. Ultimately, this family saved my life because I was told in May that I may have a month and I'm still here, Summers said. The kids have all bonded amazingly well too, making both Tricia's very happy mothers. While Wesley and Noah spend most of their time playing Legos and superheroes together, they also make sure to leave time for some Fortnite on the Xbox. They even share bunk beds and have become somewhat inseparable. At the same time, the Siemens have made arrangements to become Wesley's legal guardians as and when Summers dies. My son is well aware that when I pass on, he's welcome to stay here, and he knows that Dan and Tricia will be his guardians. They've explained to him that they'll never be mommy and daddy, but they're sure going to try to be close, Summers explained. According to Tricia Summers, they've answered my prayers. It's wonderful, it's absolutely wonderful. And while she battles with her cancer, her prognosis is not looking good. However, Tricia is thrilled that little Wesley will receive the love and support he needs from his new family, and even inherited a great companion in the form of a new big brother in the process.